Hello, Patriots. Here I come to you with a article from Nordic Monitor. Erdogan ally, Turkish Hizbullah, the head of the Turkish Hizbullah, called for a global jihad against Jews, pledging arms funds. Did it on the 16th of October. Excuse me. This gentleman, as you see right here, his name is Edip Gümüş, current leader of Turkish Hizbullah. And this article is authored by Mr. Abdullah Bozkurt in Stockholm. The supreme religious leader of Turkey's Iran-backed Hizbullah, Edip Gümüş, an ally of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's Islamic government, has recently made a public call for a global jihad against Israel, leading to concerns about the safety of Jewish communities both within and without Turkey. In a statement published on October 13th by the ilk, what do we know? That's. I'm sorry. I should have looked more closely. That's a Turkish word. İlke Haber Ajansı, İlke News Agency, a media outlet affiliated with Hezbollah, Gümüş read, quote, "Hurry up for jihad. Come to jihad and come to salvation, especially those of you who are neighbors and close to the lands of Palestine. Do not leave our Gazan brothers alone. Render the borders meaningless. Pour in and join your Palestinian jihadist brothers," unquote. He also emphasized that all Muslims worldwide must find a means to contribute to jihadist cause. Gümüş, a 65-year-old Turk, received training from Iranian intelligence and has forged an allegiance with President Erdogan, who has not only met with Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, but has also worked closely with Ali Akbar Velayeti, Khamenei's senior advisor. In 2010, Gümüş fled Turkey after his release from prison, pending trial, and has been a fugitive ever since. Despite being on the run, his organization has experienced significant growth, running Hezbollah from his undisclosed location. The organization was involved dozens of murders and assassinations in the past. Quote, "Fight shoulder to shoulder with the Mujahideen against the Zionist enemy, and those who have no opportunity to fight, those with unfavorable conditions, should strive to create opportunities and conditions in brackets for combat," unquote, he added. Quote, "Be like the Iz Abdin al-Ghassam brigades and strike into their, in brackets, Jewish hearts," unquote, Gümüş urged. Now, his statement is right here, and what the links will always be in the description, as they have always been. When you click on it, if you like, you can come right down here, and you can save or print right there. So the link for the article will be in the description, but you have to open up the article and download the statement if you're interested in it. And it is in Turkish, just to let you know. The Hezbollah leader also called for the arming of jihadists in Palestine and emphasized the importance of taking care of the families they may leave behind. Gümüş criticized those who claim that Hamas and Islamic Jihad are overpowered by the might of the US and Israel, asserting that such thinking is a sin because it fails to acknowledge the power and divine assistance of Allah. It's basically this is a very Islamic way of looking at things, because whatever the doctrine is, that is the truth. And the fact that it's truth has nothing to do with the reality in which you live. So this is a parallel in which you can use to view the mindset that's behind the followers of such groups, organizations, causes, etc. So by doing just this simple paragraph alone, heck, it's not even, I mean, just it's a single sentence long paragraph. Just by understanding this alone, right here, just by understanding this alone, you can see how quickly, simply, logic and its usage can be completely derailed and hijacked. Just wanted to make that clear. Quote, with his will, his decree, and his command, B, everything can change. In an instant, turn upside down. Many times, a small and weak group has prevailed over a large and powerful one. Prepare yourselves, join the jihad, seek ways to participate, and then put your trust in your Allah, unquote, he declared. Quote, as the Hizbullah organization, we declare to the entire world that with our wealth, our lives, our blood, we stand with our Palestinian Mujahid brothers, Hamas and Islamic Jihad. We declare that we will provide all kinds of material and spiritual support within our means, unquote, the statement said. Addressing Muslim women, Gümüş encouraged them to raise children as jihadists and urged them to have more children, saying, quote, your sisters in Palestine are giving birth to many children so that they may become martyrs in the path of Allah, 2 or 3 at a time. The women that are watching this video, I'll just leave you with this, and I won't comment any further, simply because I am of the opinion that it doesn't need to be commented upon. It's pretty clear cut. The call from Hizbullah's supreme religious leader carries significant weight due to the vast network and resources at the organization's disposal, and it poses a serious threat not only to Jews but also to Muslims who oppose Hamas's terrorist attacks. Given the organization's history of violence and involvement in multiple murders, the religious leader's call, which is considered a religious edict demanding unquestioning obedience, should indeed raise alarm bells for law enforcement agencies. Now, on this photo, Turkish President Erdogan is seen with Zekeriya Yapıcıoğlu, the chairman of Hüdapar, which is Hizbullah's political arm, during an election campaign tour in Istanbul on April 8th, 2023. Despite Hizbullah being designated as a terrorist group in Turkey, I repeat, maybe that just went over your head. Look, Turkish President Erdogan is seen with Zekeriya Yapıcıoğlu, the chairman of Hüdapar, which is Hizbullah's political arm, during the election campaign in tour in Istanbul on April 8th, 2023. The first sentence in the next paragraph reads, despite Hizbullah being designated as a terrorist group in Turkey, it enjoys political protection from the Erdogan government. Some of its members, even those serving life sentences for murder, have managed to secure their releases from prison with government support. This is a good point to this is a good moment to point out that the Turkish constitution that was rewritten in the 1980, over, I believe, if my memory serves me right, 70% of it has been changed. I mean, there's barely anything of it that's left within the original intent and spirit of what the Constitution was written. So it's more like, today, it's more like a Constitution of Erdogan's choices. Where, I mean, Russia operates in a similar way, in the sense that you don't really have laws for any particular thing in Russia until such laws are needed. Now, you might say that, well, that's every country. They make the law that they need when such a need arises. That's not exactly what I mean. What I mean is, if there's a particular legal path needed to achieve a certain goal, then that path will be provided, rather than try to navigate yourself through an existing law and seeking to find some sort of loophole for you to exploit and achieve your goal. That's not done in today's Turkish legal process at all, because the overwhelming support that the current regime has, and how the parliament has just, Turkish parliament has become more of a circus than any actual legislative body that legislates for, well, I mean, by the representatives that are in it. It's all more like Erdogan says, I need this done, and the body convenes, and because of overwhelming seats that the AKP party has, they just pass anyways, regardless of what the opposition thinks, regardless of the size of the opposition, and it just becomes law. So everything becomes a formality. Furthermore, there hasn't been any significant law enforcement action taken against the Hizbullah network in Turkey in the last decade, allowing the organization to operate freely in various segments of Turkish society. This situation raises concerns about the enforcement of counterterrorism measures and the organization's influence within the country. Hüdapar, the political arm of Hizbullah, officially formed an alliance with President Erdogan's ruling Justice and Development Party, the AKP. By the way, Erdogan unified the office of the Prime Minister with the office of the President. So technically, there's only the office of President now, but as they would say, it's one person occupying two seats, but that's not even true, because he occupies at the very least 3 seats, because he's also the chairman of the party. So no amount of control has been given up or delegated to by him in the political realm at all. So AKP in the May 14th elections. In a significant development, 3 Hizbullah members for the first time became MPs in the Turkish parliament, running on the AKP ticket. During the election campaign, Erdogan actively campaigned in various cities and towns alongside Hüdapar leaders Zekeriya Yapıcıoğlu, who you saw in the photo, indicating a close political association between the two groups. Turkish Hizbullah is primarily composed of Kurds and has a significant presence within certain parts of Turkey's Kurdish population, particularly in the religious and conservative segments. The allegiance between President Erdogan and Hezbollah began with a secret deal in 2014, where electoral support was promised for the release of Hezbollah's terrorists, including notorious murderers, serving life sentences for killing 91 people during the 1990s and early 2000s in Turkey. This allegiance became officially recognized this year, highlighting the political collaboration between the two entities. Hezbollah is known for its highly organized and hierarchical structure, with the conservative body İstişare Heyeti, in parentheses, under the leadership of Gümüş, making decisions on all matters. The organization has the ability to appeal to larger segments of the population by utilizing religious themes, such as incidents like Quran burnings in Europe and the Palestine issue. Hezbollah has a significant influence in organizing rallies and demonstrations across Turkey, often exceeding its political weight in these events. In recent times, many anti-Israel and pro-Hamas rallies across Turkey, especially following the Hamas terrorist attacks and the Israeli response, have been associated with the Hezbollah organization, indicating their prominent role in mobilizing public sentiment on those issues. Edip Gümüş, speaking into a bullhorn, as you can see right here, is the leader of Turkish Hizbullah. He spent some time in jail before his release. It's also concerning to note that Hamas leaders who have found shelter in Turkey were facilitated by Hezbollah to appear in the Turkish parliament, allowing them to propagate their message and share their propaganda with the Turkish public. Hezbollah lawmakers even took the floor of the General Assembly, advocating for the severing of ties with Israel, a ban on the entry of Jews to Turkey, and the deprivation of Turkish citizenship for Jews who enlist in Israeli defense forces. Hezbollah's connections to Iran have been exposed in previous criminal investigations, revealing that the Iranian regime provided arms, funding, and training to many Hezbollah militants. These ties underscore the international dimensions of Hezbollah's operations and its links to state actors, adding to concerns about its activities and influence beyond Turkey's borders. Confidential documents obtained by Nordic Monitor show that Turkish police and military intelligence units had in the past mapped out the money trail leading to Mustazaf's there and Hezbollah-linked entities and individuals from Iran. The documents incorporated into a terrorism investigation of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, Quds Force, identified the transfer of $500,000 from Iran to Hezbollah in February 2012 alone. A report filed by the Counterterrorism Bureau of the Diyarbakir Police Department. Diyarbakir, by the way, is a city bordering. It's one of the. It's the farthest city in Turkey, most easterly. I believe it also has. It borders Iran. Diyarbakir Police Department on May 9th, 2012. Stated that Hezbollah received $100,000 every month from Iran, in addition to lump sum payments for special operations. It noted that Mehmet Hüseyin Yılmaz, the head of Mustazaf Der, Mehmet Göktaş'a, the owner of Hezbollah publications, the publication Doğru Haber, and Said Gabari, and Fikret Gültekin, Hezbollah propagandists, received $500,000 from Iran in February 2012. It also added that Iran sent $10,000 to the family of Ubaydullah Durna, a Mustazaf member who was killed by the Kurdistan Workers' Party PKK in the town of Yüksekova near Turkey's border with Iran on May 5th, 2011. Now, Hezbollah member in the Turkish parliament asking that Jews who volunteer for the defense of Israel be stripped of their Turkish citizenship. I'm going to play that. It's very short.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
That translation came basically right in the start. So,
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
I mean, I read it already, but
Sayın Başkan, değerli milletvekilleri, net bir şekilde ifade ediyorum ki İsrail işgalci ve gayrimeşru bir terör şebekesidir. Meclisimiz bu nedenle net bir mesaj ile işgalci rejimi kınamalıdır. Bununla birlikte diplomatik, siyasi ve ticari ilişkilerimiz kesilmelidir. Oradan kaçan bütün Yahudiler kardeşlerimizin katilleri olduğu için Türkiye'ye alınmamalıdır. Türkiye vatandaşı olan Yahudilerin gönüllü olarak kardeşlerimizi katletmek için oraya gitmesine de asla izin verilmemeli, gidenler vatandaşlıktan çıkarılmalıdır. Bu vesileyle Aksa Tufanı operasyonunu ve Filistinli mücahitleri selamlıyorum. Genel kurula saygılarımla.
There you go. The report further revealed that Iran set up a special unit in Hezbollah for espionage and surveillance in Turkey to monitor military activities, especially around NATO installations. Members of this group were selected from people who work in government jobs and the media for easy access to sensitive sites and installations. It underlined that the unit ran surveillance on a NATO radar base in Malatya province, photographed and videotaped the base and its surroundings and passed the results to its Iranian handlers. The Quds Force probe, which also investigated Hezbollah and its Iran links, was hushed up by Erdogan government in 2014, and the investigating prosecutor was sacked before he had a chance to secure detention warrants for the suspects or file an indictment. The report on Hezbollah and other evidence in the case file were all buried by Erdogan's probe, who were in bed with Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a deadly group backed by Iran that seeks to establish an Iranian-style mullah regime in Turkey. It was set up in the 80s, but made a name for itself in the 90s when it recruited mostly Kurds in southeastern Turkey and was supported by some elements of the Turkish intelligence, military, and police establishment against the outlawed PKK. Intelligence report on Hezbollah's activities in Turkey and how they received funding and training from Iran. Now, the report is here. The whole thing is in Turkish, 5 pages long, and you can save it and download it if you have the desire to do so. They were brutal in their murders, kidnapping moderate Muslims and executing them after torturing them in rooms built under safe houses. Remember, I've said this multiple times over the years, that this whole all Muslims are, united and so forth. This rhetoric that exists in the Islamic world is just that it's window dressing. Muslims don't just slaughter non-Muslims; they also slaughter each other. And this isn't a case of an isolated incident where one side is a terrorist organization and the people it is slaughtering are just civilians that don't have any armed activity either in a sense of acquired experience or intention at all, just ordinary Muslim civilians. No, this could be another organization that, you know, Hezbollah is kidnapping and slaughtering. So the Muslims going after each other, regardless of where they come from, in the sense that they are just civilians or from any sort of organization, is a trend that has ran across centuries. So this is by no means an isolated incident. And they were brutal in their murders, kidnapping moderate Muslims and executing them after torturing them in rooms built under safe houses. The highly secretive military wing was structured as independent cells, capable of executing assassinations and terrorist attacks. It had three men groups, and it had three men groups that were trained in target identification, survival techniques, bomb making, and intelligence gathering. The group, however, faced a huge crackdown in early 2001 after the death of its leader, Hüseyin Velioğlu, in a clash with police during a raid on a safe house in Istanbul on January 17, 2000. Velioğlu was trained in Iran, and Gümüş was his right-hand man, responsible for operations in the predominantly Kurdish province of Batman, Diyarbakir, and Mardin. In total, 2,813 Hezbollah members were detained in police operations, and many, including Gümüş, were tried and convicted of terrorism offenses and sent to prison. Remember, at this time, in the years here mentioned, like 2000, 2001, so forth, Erdogan is not Erdogan is not in, quote, in power yet, and it's getting there. It's getting there in these times, but he's nowhere, absolutely nowhere near the power he possesses today. That's ages distant in the future to come. The evidence presented in court case file indicated that Hezbollah's senior leaders in the 1980s operated under the influence of Iranian intelligence officer Esmail Karajetaghi, who was working for Iran's Ministry of Intelligence, known as Savama at the time. Gümüş was tried and convicted, receiving a life sentence. However, excuse me, he was released in 2010 and has remained a fugitive since then, with suspicions that he took up residence in Iran. Hezbollah members protesting in front of Israeli consulate in Istanbul on October 11th, 2023, with its members wearing white shrouds symbolizing their readiness to die. And it reads, İşgalci, Zionist, katilleri lanetliyoruz. We're damning or condemning the Zionist occupiers, Zionist occupying murderers. There it is.
Direniş ve direnişe selam olsun.
And yeah. Hezbollah, in response to the crackdown, adopted a low profile and changed its tactics to survive. It discreetly reorganized itself under a variety of foundations, associations, and other entities during the first 2 terms of Erdogan government. Does this ring any bells with any of you? I repeat, it discreetly reorganized itself under a variety of foundations, associations, and other entities during the first 2 years of Erdogan's government. In December 2012, the group established the Hüdapar political party with the support of Erdogan government, which permitted the party's entry into politics. The secret alliance formed in March 2014 emboldened Hizbullah to become more aggressive in rebuilding its network. Currently, Hizbullah, with its political party, associations, foundations, media outlets, charity groups, and other networks, has been rapidly expanding in Turkey, particularly among the Kurdish population. Additionally, the group has extended its reach into a number of European countries, signifying its growing influence and presence beyond Turkey's borders. I've said it before and I say it again. Next time when the presidential election comes around in Turkey, in fiscal calendar, there will not be an election. The last election was a fiasco to begin with, but next time there definitely will not be. Not with his parties, community organizers, and not with other auxiliary entities such as Hüdapar and others that basically control the streets and make sure that Erdogan gets what he wants, which is a caliphate, and they get what they want, which is more Islamic influence across the Middle East against Israel and the West, including Western Europe and the United States. That is it for now. Forgotten Country.